Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing a fun, love-themed project featuring some new products from Pretty Pink Posh. This post is a part of a blog hop that's happening today to celebrate this brand new release, so be sure to head on over to my blog for all the details. Now, I'll be sharing more projects featuring this release throughout the month, so be sure to stay tuned here. There are many more fabulous products in this release, but these are a few that I'm featuring today, including the Love Script Die, the Valentine Greetings, this adorable double heart shaker die set, the XOXO pierced plate. I love this so much. It turned out so much better than I thought it would. And finally, the Valentine icons. And I will have links to all of these products in the YouTube description below. So if you're looking for anything in particular, you should be able to find it there. Now, this double heart shaker die is designed to be used as a shaker, but I thought it would be fun to use it kind of as a standalone element. So I'm taking the large base die that has that beautiful stitching detail and I'm die cutting it from some white cardstock. Then I'm taking the full heart and die cutting it from some blush cardstock, and this partial heart I'm die cutting from some watermelon cardstock. I'm also die cutting the Love Script die from some champagne cardstock, and I'll die cut this a couple more times from some white cardstock so that I can stack it up later on. This card project features one of my favorite things, and that is clustered elements, and I'm going to show you how I kind of put these together here in just a bit. But before we do that, I'm going to take these hearts and add a little bit of drama to them with some ink blending. So on this blush die cut heart, I am using some watermelon ink and an ink blending brush and blending in a little bit of color. This is going to give this heart a little bit of dimension and a little bit of drama. And I love the way that this watermelon ink looks on this blush colored cardstock. Now, once I get the intensity of ink that I want on this particular heart, I'm going to move on to that other darker pink heart. I do have a pair of tweezers to help me lift this off of the grip mat that I'm using. And for this dark pink heart, I'm going to be using a red ink. This is Poppy ink, and I'm using a blending brush again to bring in a little color from that right edge. Once again, this is going to add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of drama. I love die cuts that are just plain and clean and simple, but sometimes I like to add a little bit of blending and a little bit of shading to bring them to life, and that's what I decided to do today. Now, this double heart element that I'm working on here is going to serve as the base for my cluster of elements. And really, when I'm putting together something like a little collage of stamped and die cut images, I really like for them to have a landing place. This double heart element is perfect for that, but other simple shapes are great for creating kind of that landing place. Think of circles and squares and stars, where all of them can kind of be grouped and clustered together and kind of draw your eye in. Now that I have my ink blending done, I'm going to grab this scrap of white cardstock and one of the greetings from the Valentine greeting stamp set. And I'm stamping this using some black ink onto some white cardstock. I did trim this down before I ran it through my die cut machine, but this set has coordinating dies and I absolutely love that. So I'll line up that coordinating die and run this through my Anna Griffin Impress machine to die cut that adorable element. So now I have two elements of kind of my grouping here. I have that Love Script Die and I have that XOXO stamped sentiment. Now for the background, I thought this XO plate would be perfect to add some texture. And to me, there's nothing like a little craft cardstock for Valentine's Day. I thought this would be the perfect place to bring it in. It kind of gives it that little homespun look that I love so much for Valentine's Day. Now here you can see my additional layers of white cardstock that I die cut using that Love Script die. I'm kind of using my tweezers to keep my fingers out of the way as I add some liquid glue to the top of these two layers. These are going to layer behind the champagne colored cardstock to give it a little bit of weight and a little bit of dimension on the card front. Once I have the liquid glue added to the front of those dimension layers, I will take the champagne cardstock and lay it on top of one of those layers of white cardstock and just use my fingers to kind of line up the edges. And then finally, I'll take that stack and place it onto that final layer of white cardstock, again, using my fingers to make sure all of the edges are lined up. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, this card has some dimension. I am not afraid of dimension, but if you want to skip any of these layers of foam adhesive, you absolutely can. For this lighter pink colored heart, I adhered it to the base using a double layer of foam adhesive. And for the darker pink partial heart, I'm adhering that using a single layer of foam adhesive. So now back to our cluster rules. I like to use 3 elements. And right now we have a couple of elements, including this Love Script die cut, which I'm adding to the base piece using some foam adhesive on the left-hand side and some liquid glue on the back of the right-hand side to kind of keep it even, since those hearts are not on an even plane. And then I have my second element, which is this XOXO stamped greeting. I'm adhering that with a little bit of 1mm foam adhesive. This is from scrapbook.com. It's a very shallow foam adhesive. And again, I will use that same 1mm foam adhesive to add to the back of this grouping to give it a little bit of dimension without going over the top. Now, I'm an over the top kind of girl. I could have used regular adhesive on this. It wouldn't bother me a bit, but I thought I would show you how to add some varying dimensions on your card. Once I removed the backer from that foam adhesive, I'm going to flip this over and add it to my card front. And I'm just kind of positioning it with the left-hand side kind of overlapping or hanging off of that card front. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Once I get it into position, I'll press it down. And for the third element, I am using the Valentine icon stamp set. I stamped out a few of the designs thinking I might use more than one, but in the end, I really felt like this cluster of 3 elements made the most sense. So I'm using the envelope here that has that cute little heart seal, and I'm adding just a little bit of color with some simple coloring and some Copic markers. You could use whatever coloring medium you have. And then I use the coordinating dies to die cut those elements. I added some liquid glue to the back of this envelope and just kind of tucked it underneath the existing elements. So that gives me my kind of grouping of 3 elements there on that double heart base. And I think that makes the perfect prescription for a cluster of elements on a card. Now I finished my card off using some sparkling clear sequins. I like to mix up the sizes that I use. And then I'm adding some liquid glue to the back of this pierced cover plate. I'm adding it to all of the center of the O's to make sure everything stays down nice and snug to the card base. And I'm placing this on top of an A2 size top folding card base. And that allows that little bit of white cardstock to show through. Now, all in all, this is a pretty simple card, but in January, I've decided to keep my card making simple and kind of ease into the year, and I think this card project was the perfect way to do it. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there, or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as some information on a blog hop celebrating this brand new Pretty Pink Posh release. And let me tell you, there are prizes. So I'll see you over there. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I am so glad you are here. It means the world to me that you spend your time watching me create here on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this project and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of my paper crafting, card making, and live streams here on YouTube. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.